For years, the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas felt almost untouchable. Millions of people around the world knew it as the home of the hit reality show Pawn Stars. The shop survived economic crashes, changing television trends, family problems, and even the death of Richard the Old Man Harrison, one of the show's most loved faces. Because of the success of the series, the small family business became one of the most famous pawn shops on Earth. Tourists from different countries visited the store every day hoping to meet Rick Harrison, Corey Harrison, or Chun-Li in person. The building itself became a symbol of Las Vegas history. But in 2026, strange rumors suddenly started spreading online. People claimed the pawn shop was being demolished. Videos appeared showing construction barriers and heavy equipment near the building. Fans began asking questions after seeing road work around Las Vegas Boulevard. At the same time, the Harrison family seemed to be dealing with one problem after another. Corey Harrison moved away from Las Vegas. Reports claimed his net worth had dropped badly after a serious motorcycle accident in Mexico. Old family lawsuits involving money and ownership returned to the public eye. Even the television show itself no longer had the same popularity it once enjoyed. Because so many negative stories appeared together, many fans believed the famous pawn shop was finally collapsing. Social media made the rumors even bigger. Some people claimed the building would soon disappear forever, just like many older Las Vegas landmarks. But the real story behind the rumors is much more complicated. The shop was not actually being torn down. Instead, years of family struggles, business changes, city construction projects, and public misunderstandings created a picture that looked far worse than reality. To fully understand why so many people believe the rumors in 2026, it is important to go back to the beginning of the Harrison family story and see how one small pawn shop became a worldwide television empire before facing some of the hardest years in its history. The story of the gold and silver pawn shop really begins with Richard Benjamin Harrison Jr., the man fans later knew simply as the Old Man. He was born in 1941 and grew up in North Carolina. His early life was difficult and far from glamorous. He dropped out of high school and found himself in trouble at a young age after stealing a car. Instead of going to prison, he was given another choice: join the military. That decision changed the direction of his entire life. Harrison joined the United States Navy in 1958 and served for 20 years. During that time, he built discipline, toughness, and the strong personality people later saw on television. While serving, he married Joan Harrison, and together they raised 4 children. Their family life was not always easy. One of their daughters, Sherry, was born with Down syndrome and sadly passed away at a very young age. Her medical needs were expensive, and Harrison even rejoined the military partly to keep health care support for the family. Those experiences shaped him deeply and helped create the hard-working image fans later respected. After leaving the Navy in 1979, Harrison tried civilian life and worked with Joanne in real estate. For a short time, things looked stable. But in the early 1980s, the economy changed quickly. Interest rates rose sharply, and the family lost nearly everything they had built. Suddenly, they were almost broke, with very little money left. The Harrisons packed their belongings and moved to Las Vegas, searching for a fresh start. In Las Vegas, Richard and his son Rick opened a small coin shop. The business was tiny in the beginning, but they worked long hours and slowly learned how the city operated. Las Vegas was filled with people needing quick cash, especially gamblers and tourists. The family understood that pawn businesses could survive by helping people during desperate moments. Over time, Rick Harrison became fascinated by rare items, historical objects, and collectibles. He realized the shop could become more than just a place for jewelry and tools. After years of effort, the family finally received an official pawn license in 1989 and opened a gold and silver pawn shop on Las Vegas Boulevard. At that time, nobody could have imagined the tiny family business would one day become one of the most famous stores in television history. For many years, the pawn shop remained mostly unknown outside Las Vegas. The business operated like any other pawn store, buying second-hand items and giving loans to people who needed fast cash. Rick Harrison slowly developed a reputation for understanding unusual historical objects and collectibles. He enjoyed hearing stories behind the items people brought into the shop. That interest later became one of the biggest reasons a television show succeeded. Around the early 2000s, producers and documentary creators began noticing the store because of its unusual atmosphere and colorful family personalities. Rick believed the shop could work well on television, but it took years before anyone seriously considered the idea. Several early pitches failed because networks wanted something darker and more dramatic than what Rick had in mind. Finally, in 2008, television producers from Left Field Pictures discovered the pawn shop while visiting Las Vegas. They saw potential in the Harrison family and believed audiences would enjoy watching real people negotiate over strange historical objects. The idea was then taken to the History Channel, which was looking for fresh programming that could reach larger audiences. The result was Pawn Stars, which premiered in 2009. The show became an almost immediate success. Viewers loved a mix of history, humor, business deals, and family arguments. Rick appeared smart and serious. The old man brought dry humor and experience. Corey acted as a frustrated son trying to prove himself, and Chumlee became comic relief with his goofy personality. Within a short time, Pawn Stars became one of the biggest shows on cable television. Millions of people watched every week. The shop itself transformed from a small business into a major tourist attraction. Thousands of fans visited daily hoping to see filming or meet cast members. The success created spin-off shows, merchandise, books, and major business expansion. Rick Harrison earned millions from television deals and investments. Chumlee opened his own candy store nearby, while the family expanded into restaurants and tourist attractions. But despite the huge success, the reality shown on television was never completely real. Producers carefully selected which items appeared on screen. Sellers were often scheduled to return during filming days, and many negotiations were partially planned ahead of time. The family arguments and funny moments were sometimes exaggerated for entertainment. Even though the items and purchases were real, the show itself was carefully shaped to keep audiences interested. Still, fans connected emotionally with the Harrison family, which helped turn the pawn shop into a worldwide entertainment brand. As the years passed, however, problems inside the Harrison family slowly became more visible. Fame brought money and popularity, but it also brought pressure, legal troubles, and personal pain. One of the biggest emotional moments for fans came in 2018 when Richard, the old man Harrison, died after battling Parkinson's disease. Viewers had noticed his reduced appearances on the show, but did not fully understand how sick he had become. His death deeply affected both the family and longtime fans of the series. The History Channel aired tribute specials, and Rick Harrison publicly shared emotional messages about losing his father. But the sadness surrounding his death soon became even more complicated when details about Harrison's will became public. They were reportedly excluded Rick's younger brother, Christopher, creating rumors about serious family tensions. Then, in 2022, Rick Harrison faced another major controversy when his own mother filed a lawsuit against him. She accused him of mishandling family ownership and claimed large amounts of money and silver connected to the estate could not be fully explained. The lawsuit shocked many fans because the show had always presented the family as close despite their constant arguments. Around the same time, Chumlee's earlier legal troubles also continued damaging the brand's public image. Back in 2016, police searched his home during an investigation and discovered drugs and weapons. Although some more serious accusations were eventually dismissed, the scandal created major headlines and nearly destroyed his future on the show. Chumlee later completed probation successfully and returned to television, but the situation changed how some viewers saw the cast. Then another heartbreaking tragedy struck the Harrison family in 2024 when Rick Harrison's son Adam died from an accidental overdose involving fentanyl and methamphetamine. Adam had struggled with addiction problems for years. Rick later admitted the loss devastated him deeply and said losing a child was the worst pain imaginable. These personal tragedies slowly changed the feeling surrounding Pawn Stars. The show no longer felt like a fun family business, filled with strange collectibles and jokes. Instead, many fans began seeing a family dealing with grief, addiction, lawsuits, and emotional exhaustion behind the scenes. By the mid-2020s, the once unstoppable Pawn Stars empire looked much weaker than it had during its peak years. The rumors about the pawn shop being demolished became much stronger after Corey Harrison made major changes in his life. In 2024, Corey decided to leave Las Vegas and moved to Tulum, Mexico. He explained that he wanted a quieter life away from cameras and constant public attention. He also stopped working as closely with the History Channel, making fans wonder if he was leaving the family business completely. Corey planned to start over by opening a barbecue restaurant and focusing on new goals outside television. For a short time, his new life seemed peaceful. Then disaster struck in early 2026 when Corey suffered a terrible motorcycle accident in Mexico. The crash left him with broken ribs, internal injuries, a concussion, and severe medical complications that required multiple surgeries. He remained hospitalized for weeks, while medical bills quickly became extremely expensive. Reports later claimed the cost reached well over $100,000. Corey eventually created a GoFundMe page asking for financial help, which shocked many fans who assumed reality television stars were always wealthy. The situation became even more confusing when different stories appeared about how much support Rick Harrison had actually provided. Some reports said Rick covered the costs, while Corey claimed only part of the money had been loaned to him. At the same time, celebrity wealth websites updated Corey's estimated net worth to only around $10,000, creating headlines everywhere online. Many people could not believe someone connected to such a successful television franchise could face financial struggles so quickly. Social media users immediately connected Corey's problems with the visible construction happening near the pawn shop in Las Vegas. Since many famous Las Vegas buildings had recently been destroyed or redeveloped, people started assuming the gold and silver pawn shop was next. Videos showing blocked sidewalks, construction vehicles, and road work around the building spread rapidly online. Rumors became so strong that many fans genuinely believed the shop had already closed permanently. But the truth was very different. The building itself was never scheduled for demolition at all. Most of the construction came from a massive public improvement project happening along Las Vegas Boulevard. The city was replacing underground water lines, sewer systems, sidewalks, lighting, and other old infrastructure that dated back decades. While the construction created confusion and temporarily affected the area's appearance, the pawn shop itself remained open and continued operating normally throughout the entire period. Despite all the rumors and negative headlines, the gold and silver pawn shop still exists in 2026 and continues attracting visitors from around the world. The store remains one of the most recognizable tourist attractions in Las Vegas outside the city's major casinos. Rick Harrison still actively manages the business, meets fans, signs merchandise, and continues expanding his brand into new projects. In recent years, he launched a podcast with Chumlee called Pawn After Dark, allowing fans to hear more personal stories and behind-the-scenes discussions from the world of pawn stars. Rick also opened another store called Rick's Collection inside the Venetian Resort, showing that he is still investing in new business opportunities rather than preparing to close down. While the television show may no longer dominate cable ratings the way it once did, the Pawn Stars brand still carries major recognition worldwide. The real reason so many people believe the demolition rumors was because several different events happened at the same time. Las Vegas itself has been changing rapidly, with famous landmarks like the Tropicana and Mirage either closing or being transformed into completely new properties. Family tragedies and lawsuits damaged the image of the Harrison family. Corey's accident and financial struggles added another layer of concern. Construction around the shop made the area appear chaotic and unstable. When all these situations combined together, fans naturally assumed the famous pawn shop was nearing its end. In reality, the building was never in danger of being destroyed. Instead, the rumors reflected something more emotional. Many longtime viewers feel that the golden age of Pawn Stars has already passed. The family has aged, suffered losses, and changed in ways audiences never expected when the show first became popular. The shop still stands physically, but for many fans, the feeling surrounding it is no longer the same as it was during the show's peak years. That emotional shift is what truly fueled the demolition rumors. People were not just reacting to construction equipment or online gossip. They were reacting to the feeling that an important part of television history and pop culture was slowly fading away. Even though the gold and silver pawn shop is still standing in 2026, the future of the entire Pawn Stars brand feels very different compared to its golden years. The show that once attracted millions of viewers every week is no longer at the center of cable television the way it used to be. Streaming platforms, changing audience habit, and new types of reality content have reduced the dominance that shows like Pawn Stars once enjoyed. For many fans, this change created a feeling that something important is slowly fading away. The shop itself may still be open, but the cultural moment it represented during the early 2010s cannot be repeated. At its peak, Pawn Stars was not just a TV show. It was part of everyday conversation. People would discuss rare items, historical objects, and funny negotiations from the shop as if they were happening in real life. That level of attention is extremely rare in modern television. Now, even though new episodes still exist and reruns continue to air, the excitement is not the same. This is one of the main reasons why rumors about demolition, closure, or total collapse spread so easily. When people stop feeling the cultural presence of something, they often assume it is disappearing completely, even when it is still operating normally. In the case of the pawn shop, the building is physically fine, but its symbolic importance has changed. It is no longer the center of global attention it once was. Instead, it has become more of a nostalgic landmark, a place people visit because of memory rather than excitement. This shift from active fame to historical fame plays a big role in how fans interpret news about it. Even small changes like construction outside or fewer TV appearances suddenly feel like signs of a larger ending. Another important factor behind confusion is how quickly misinformation spreads online. In today's internet culture, short videos and headlines often replace full explanations. A clip showing